Does your counselor ever get mad at you or have judgments towards you? Well, the answer to that is yes. Well, not really. Well, sort of, kind of. The truth of it is, this question is a lot like the other topics that I talked to you about, which means it's really a gray area. I'm not going to tell you, no, counselors don't have judgment, we're completely non judgmental, because that's not the truth. And I always tell you guys the truth. So, in this video, we're going to pull apart all those shades of gray, and I'm going to talk to you about what really goes on inside of your therapist or your counselor's mind. All right, for those of you who are new here, I'm Amber Hollingsworth, and this is Put the Shovel Down, the YouTube channel dedicated to helping you understand the science and psychology of addiction so you can beat addiction and get your life back and have control and make it go in whatever direction you want it to go. If that sounds like something that you want to do, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. I release at least one video every week, and that's usually on Tuesday mornings, but I release other ones throughout the week just as bonuses, and you have to have those notifications turned on in order to know about that and get those videos. All right, let's get into the topic. All right, I think the best way to start to explain this to you is to tell you a story about something that happened to me. I don't know how many of you know this or not, but when you're a counselor, at least in South Carolina, and I'm pretty sure it's like real similar in most states, maybe a little different, but pretty similar. Once you get out of counselor school, you can get a job in an organization or HC like a hospital or mental health or something like that. But if you want to be what's like called a licensed counselor, which means like you could like have your own practice like we do here or something like that, then you have to go for like this additional 2 years, not to school. You could be working, but you have to be in what's called like supervision. So this is all behind the scenes stuff about counselors, more than you ever wanted to know about. And so you have to go to supervision, which basically means you have to go see a counselor about your counseling. So it's just like seeing any other kind of counselor, but you're talking about what's going on in your sessions. And that is to make sure you have your head on straight and you're keeping everything in line with what's going on with your clients. Because naturally, as a counselor, you're hearing a lot of like heavy stuff, and sometimes you need a place to process that. Now, if you're seeing a counselor that's in that supervision process, you should know that. They should disclose it to you. It should be on their paperwork, so it's not like a secret or anything. But anyways, when I was in my supervision process, every week I would go and I would sit there, and the other counselor who'd been doing it for like a million years, he would ask me this question. He would say, "Are you having any countertransference issues?" I guess let me tell you what countertransference means. So transference means it's like the feelings that your client has about you that they project on you. Like if I remind somebody of their mom and they like had really good feelings about their mom or really not good feelings about their mom, they might project those feelings onto me because I remind them of whatever that is, you know, the person in their life, their sister, their mom, their friend, or whatever. And so they're going to project those feelings onto me. That's called transference. Countertransference is the feelings and thoughts and stuff that the counselor projects onto the client. And so naturally, when I think about it, and I was like a new baby counselor and I was just at school, I thought, well, you're not supposed to have feelings about your clients? Like, that's unprofessional. I don't know if they like teach you that in school. I don't know if they like directly say that, but you definitely get the impression in counselor school that you're supposed to be professional and objective and not all emotional and crazy about your clients. You're supposed to be together and help your clients. So every week I would go to supervision, and my supervisor, his name was Dr. Harris, and Dr. Harris would say, "Are you having any countertransference issues?" And I would say, "Oh no, definitely not. I'm all good. I'm all good with that." Every week for like 2 years, he would ask me that, and that is what I would say. I would say no, because I don't know, that just seemed like you'd be like bad if you had like feelings like about your clients, like mad ones, like nice ones, whatever. You're not supposed to have that. Well, I'm not a baby counselor anymore. And so what I've come to learn after being really honest with myself is I have feelings about every single client I see. Like you could ask me now, if I was in supervision now, and he asked me that question, I was like, let me get my list out, you know, because I have like, of course, like someone is sitting in front of me, sometimes, you know, has been coming for a long time and I know them and they're telling me really heavy stuff. There's no way not to have feelings about what your client tells you. Like you seriously have to be like totally turned off, like a total wall, if you don't have feelings about your clients. But here's the key. If you are dealing with a good counselor, those feelings should not run the show. And that's the whole thing, is if you can acknowledge those feelings, whatever they are, because sometimes they're like, feel really sorry for a client. I just want to help them so much. And sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't understand that. Like, I don't get where you come from. Or, I get upset about something. Of course I have feelings. But the thing about being a professional is you should be really mindful about what your own feelings are, and you should have a pretty good idea about what your buttons are, what might make you upset, what might make you feel bad for somebody, so that you can manage those feelings. And so that's truly what should go on with your counselor. I'm not going to tell you your counselor doesn't have any kind of like feeling about what you're telling them. Like, of course they do. And of course they have judgments about that. And when I say judgments, I don't even mean like judgment, like a negative kind of judgment. I just mean like they're taking in information and making decisions, and they're sort of making judgments about what's happening. Not necessarily negative judgments, but that's what we do. That's what you're paying us to do, honestly. Paying us to look at your situation, size it up, come up with some judgments, and tell you what they are so you can, do things differently. So now, when I have counselors that come to me for supervision, I teach them right out the bat that you're going to have feelings about your clients, hopefully. And if you can be aware of those feelings and bring them into your conscious brain, then it actually gives you a lot of information. The clients that see me now, they'll tell you, I probably drive them crazy with this, but I'm always like, dude, I'm feeling your energy, and it's like this, like, oh, I was scared when you walked in today because I knew something was going to happen. I'll just tell them out loud. Most of the time with my clients I've seen for a while, I'll just tell them out loud. So if I'm thinking something, they usually know it. So it's not a secret, which makes them feel not weird or not judged. I don't sit with a clipboard. I don't write a bunch of stuff down while you're talking to me. Like, we're just talking. We're just people here. But being able to experience those feelings gives me a huge amount of information about what's going on with this person. Like, now, not only do I used to deny it, but now I use it like it's like an extra superpower, like extra spidey sense or something, because I just literally like pay attention to what's going on with my client, what's going on with how I'm feeling about what's going on with my client. There's like 10 levels of thinking here, right? You're listening to your client, you're thinking about what they're telling you, you're thinking about, oh, my video's sideways. Oh man, I can't believe that. I'll have to, when I get done with this, I'll have it flipped for you. Sorry about that. So, you're listening to your client, you're listening to what they're telling you, you're thinking about what they're telling you, you're thinking about what they need to know or what you need to say next, you're thinking about what you feel about what they're telling you, you're thinking about why you feel that way about what they're telling you. There's like 10 levels of thinking going on here. So, I like to say, it looks easy, like you're sitting in the chair, but there is a lot going on besides just sitting in the chair listening. So, it's just a whole lot of stuff going on in there. So, the answer to your question is, yes, your counselor has feelings about you. They may not admit that, but that is true. Are those feelings necessarily negative? No. A lot of my clients, they worry. I can tell they worry. They're like, you're going to be mad at me. They'll say that, like they had a relapse or something. I'm like, dude, I'm not mad at you. Like, I can literally feel when I get my client out of the lobby and I'm walking on back to my office, I can pretty much know how they're doing. I might say, how you doing? But I don't even need to say it because I can feel it. Like, they're in a good mood, they're in a bad mood, they don't want to tell me something. And they bring that back and they're like, oh, I don't want to tell you this, and they'll just tell you, and I'll be like, oh, here comes a confession, and then they'll just tell it to me or whatever. So if you're worried about that, ask your counselor, because one of the things about being in counseling is it should be a safe and open relationship that you could sort of say things that you might not say in other relationships, so that you could ask questions that you might not say. If I have a client and whatever they're bringing makes me feel kind of anxious, then it might be important for them to be aware of that, because it might be important that they know that they're bringing that energy, because it could be like impacting the other people in their life and dictating how those people are responding to them. So there's a lot of information there to be gained. Counselors are not, hopefully, if you got a good one, they're not like this like blank slate of, clipboard. How does that make you feel? Like, we have no feelings and we're just like 100% objective and all that kind of stuff. Like, No, counselors are people. And if the better your counselor is, the more comfortable and authentic, and you could just tell it's just more genuine and open that they're going to be, because it means they've done it long enough that they're just comfortable with it and they're not all worried because they're worried, then you're worried, and that's no good. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm sorry my video is sideways. Thank you whoever told me that. These lives, it makes me crazy. I'll fix it for you though. In the replay, I'll flip it back over. Next week, I'm going to be talking about, someone put a comment about this. They said that their husband or their friend said, why would you go to a counselor? You're just paying for a friend. I've heard that a lot. So next week, we're going to address that. We're going to talk about, is it really just paying for a friend? What are you paying for? Why would you go talk to a counselor when you could talk to a friend or a sponsor? I mean, why do you need that? Why do you need to pay? So next week, we're going to cover that. And that way, if you ever get told that again, you'll know what the answer to that is. You'll have a good, snappy comeback. So I'll see you then. Thanks for hanging out with me.